listen. When I caught this movie at South by, they had ladies outside sanctifying people. There was a curandero inside who gave everyone a red cloth to wear off evil spirits. They were praying. They had warning signs. I was just sitting there going, guys, I already faced this lady once. For those who aren't Latino, we're pretty much scared of three things growing up. There's El Cucuy, there's La Llorona, and then there's the scariest one of them all, hands down, La Chancla. But in my case, La Llorona was brought up all the time because I used to go to Durango twice a year. So every year, a big part of my childhood consisted of being in Mexico, drinking Coke out of a bag, and then coming across a lady crying by the river yelling, mis hijos. So to us, seeing this on the big screen is a big deal. This is like Krampus for Dwight Schrute. She's like our haunted tia who we try our hardest to avoid but still feel like an obligation to go watch her movie. So what I want to do is break down my Latino perspective on this because that's something WB can't buy. Let me explain. So for me, the movie's sadly a stream it. I think the best part about it are some of the visuals, considering that the director's done cool things with his short about a real estate agent trying to sell a haunted house. He did that Billie Eilish video, and even the movie itself has similar effects to other Billie Eilish videos. So set pieces like the umbrella scene or the car scene, I thought were fantastic. And then you remember there's a whole other part of the movie. So the movie begins in 1673, where a woman gets cheated on by her husband, and of course the only logical solution for her to get back at him is to drown both of their children. She then becomes cursed and starts haunting other kids for centuries to come after drowning. And as a Mexican kid, hearing about a mother killing her child because she was trying to get back at her cheating husband, that's extra scary. The movie then jumps forward to 1973 in Los Angeles, which, as the Q&A brought up, was their clever way of still claiming that the land is Mexican.
La Llorona for us is not a folktale. It's not a legend. It's not a
She's
story.
real.
She's real. She has no borders. It's not like, oh, we live in the US, she's back in Mexico, in Venezuela.
This was Mexico.
Ain't no brick's gonna keep La Llorona out. Now, I like how they chose this time period because that way no one can Google La Llorona, right? They have no idea who she is. There's definitely a lot that you can do with this story, especially if it was from the perspective of the kids, since they're the ones being haunted, but man, when that trailer dropped, I had so many people hit me up on Twitter because they were mad that the lead wasn't a Latina, so I went over to go check it out. Is that my crush, Linda Cardellini? The freak and geek herself? The only redeeming feature of Hawkeye? Sexy Velma?
Jinkies!
Of course, I reserved my judgment until I saw the motion picture itself, and I guess because she's married to a Mexican cop who died, she has some connection to it, but, you know, her pronunciation was scarier than the movie, but at least she tried.
La Llorona?
She's working as a social worker who's investigating this lady who's R. Kelly'd her kids in the closet, and while Linda thinks that she's being a savior to this family, she ends up being the reason why both of the boys die.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
So the mom of those boys is obviously super furious and decides to dry snitch to La Llorona, telling her to go snatch Linda's kids. And you know things get really bad when you have to resort to asking Tuco Salamanca for help.
Tight, yeah!
This dude's coming up with an anti-venom made out of La Llorona's own tears. He's got holy huevos rancheros to protect them. He's putting Alka-Seltzer in the pool. Problem is, this whole family is dumb. Like, there's a point where people aren't laughing at a horror movie out of relief because they were scared. They're laughing because they cannot believe what's on screen. Like, if you're a bad mom, right? Say the epitome of Cinderella's stepmother, you would still question where your kids got the bruises from because you don't want to get blamed. If you're a good mom, not a great mom, just a good mom, you're still going to try to figure out what caused this to make sure it doesn't happen again. But if you're a mom who's also a social worker who literally just saw this mark on the previous kids that you got killed, man, there's other parts like with the umbrella bit that again, I think looks great, but what was this girl thinking? Look, if I reached for a piece of paper and it moved, I'd say, okay, it's the wind. If it moved again, I'm starting to believe there's a really big draft. But if it moves a third time, damn me, those are demonios. The son then thinks about going into the attic, which no little Mexican boy would do. We all know that's the cucuy room, but what probably takes the cake, and obviously one of these kids, is when the little girl is given one rule, right? Don't cross a line. There's just one thing on the syllabus of what not to do. And she does it. Again, the movie could have been great if it was from the perspective of the kids and they didn't have the kids doing dumb things that kids wouldn't do. Considering her name translates into the Weeping Woman, I also feel that they could have made her cry more iconic, but it's clear that this is just like a stepping stone to something bigger. I mean, the movie practically takes place inside a house, so it's not like they had the biggest budget. It also wraps up so fast, they forgot one of the main characters got shot and they just move on. And I believe the reason for that is because it's just one part in a bigger franchise. I know the poster says it, but I had no idea that other people had no idea this was connected to the Conjuring series, making it technically a spin-off and leading a lot of people to wonder, how can you copyright a culture's folktale? I mean, the Conjuring universe is interesting because it's based off of real people. You know, a lot of the incidents are real, so it's more of a fictional biopic-ish series, if that makes any sense. But does that mean no one else can do a movie about La Llorona? Because it's Warner Bros? Do other people now have to alter their story if they want to do that? Do they have to swap out the names and cover it from a different perspective, a folktale from another culture? Or maybe you should, on the next one, not hire German writers who previously wrote 5 Feet Apart. Like, it was clear they didn't get the condition in 5 Feet Apart considering the backlash, so it's kind of obvious they didn't get a lot of the nuances here. You can get way deeper if you wanted to make a good movie with this, just getting into the psychology of this folktale, getting into the victims and what they feel. There can be way more emotions and iconic shots. And I think that if the director was able to get a good script, he already has the visual flair to do something really cool. And seeing as he's doing The Conjuring 3, I hope this guy delivers. Seeing as they reintroduced the Annabelle preacher in this one, I'm curious to see how they build this demonic Avengers roster. But considering that this is a part of the Conjuring universe, and it seems to be a franchise that keeps getting bigger and bigger, I can't really get mad at it. Cause that just means the sequel's gonna be crazy. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like I said, from my perspective, someone who literally grew up hearing about La Llorona since he was 2 years old, I think they can make it better, and this one may be okay. It's not the greatest, but I think the next one could be better. You call it the return of La Llorona, the dawn of La Llorona. Call it rise of La Llorona, have her fight a Skywalker or something. I have no idea, but once they realize that all they have to do to defeat her is to take her off the ofrenda, then we can all go back to drinking bottle coke with cacahuates. I'm also curious to see a bunch of other folktales that are out there. Like I had mentioned Krampus. I know a lot of people mentioned Mama was kind of a version of La Llorona, but from overseas. So I'm kind of curious to see what else is out there. I'm campaigning right now that if mi tío Guillermo is able to do the Chupacabra movie, I'll be there day one. I'll be there on the set helping for free with whatever I can. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on this. I know a lot of my Latino viewers, Latino people in general, are gonna go see this movie. Horror fans are gonna go see this movie. And then Easter Sunday's gonna come up, and they're just gonna be there going, por mi culpa, por mi culpa. But I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you're like me and you want the next one to be better. And you're just happy that I guess the story's out there, and it hopefully has the potential. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And La Llorona will leave that corner.